Hello there, welcome back. Apologies for not being more consistent with YouTube videos. I've been away, enjoyed my little self, and I'm back. Yes, I'm back. But what I wanted to actually talk about was Keir Starmer's agenda, because he most certainly has an agenda. Keir Starmer, he rose to the Labour leadership promising integrity, clarity and a breakdown from the chaos of recent years. Yet after entering office, it became increasingly clear that his agenda is not to transform Britain, but to manage its slow decline under the guise of stability. Behind the smooth rhetoric of security and responsibility, Starmer's leadership reveals a deeply strategic, cautious and even technocratic vision. But this vision raises concerns, not only about the direction of the country, but also about the failure of Parliament itself to challenge it. So you could ask, what is Starmer's agenda? Well, Starmer's government is guided, in my opinion, by 5 core priorities. And it's all aimed at consolidating power while avoiding disruption to the existing system. He has to reassure the establishment. Starmer is clearly intent on avoiding the backlash Jeremy Corbyn faced from financial markets, the media and the internal party dissent. His leadership has abandoned public ownership pledges, rail, mail, energy, watered down commitments on tax reforms and wealth redistribution, and is accepting donations, the party that is, from hedge fund managers and corporate linked figures. So by doing so, he signalled that Labour under his leadership is safe for business, their business. He's not a threat to the elite, but a polished steward of the system that we're in. Then of course he needs to control his party. MPs have been suspended or deselected for deviating from the line. Conference policy votes are routinely ignored. Grassroots influence has been weakened. The centralised control ensures there are no surprises and no rebellions, even if that means silenced democratic input from Labour's own base. Number 3. He's mimicking the Tories to attempt to capture the middle. Rather than offer bold alternatives, Starmer aims to win over Tory voters who are exhausted with scandal but not looking for radical change. Now that to me explains why his hardline stance on migration, including talk of smashing gangs, his support for austerity era spending limits, echoing Tory rhetoric on welfare, security and defence. This isn't transformation, it's triangulation, and it's working, at least electorally, but it comes to the cost, and the cost is moral clarity. And then of course number 4. Starmer's rhetoric on defence has grown more hawkish. He has promised to raise military spending to 2.5% of GDP. He's cut foreign aid budget to help fund this increase. Talks openly about preparing for war, particularly with Russia and China. Yet while billions are found for missiles and drones, there's in no way of a bold solution for housing poverty or NHS recovery. His security agenda appears more concerned with external threats than domestic collapse. Then of course is number 5. He'll avoid accountability through ambiguity. Starmer rarely speaks in specifics. In fact, I've never heard him be specific. In committee hearings, the public's Q&As, he frequently dodges questions, offers vague reassurances or promises, I'll come back with more details, as he did, as I highlighted in a previous video. This calculated vagueness allows him to avoid firm commitments, U-turn without the consequences, reassure opposite sides simultaneously or simultaneously. No, in short, his vagueness is not a weakness, it's a tactic. It's an absolute tactic. Now, I've asked, and many other people have asked, why ain't the House of Commons as a whole stopping this? And that, to me, is the most troubling question of all. If Starmer's approach is so tightly controlled, so lacking in vision, and so beholden to the status quo, why isn't Parliament challenging? And there's possible reasons. The Conservative Party is fractured, leaderless, and still suffering from public memory of scandals, austerity, the Brexit mismanagement. They are in no moral position to challenge Starmer, because in many ways he is continuing their own policies under a different brand. Labour MPs, many who've waited years to be in power, are unlikely to challenge their leadership now. Starmer's team has made it clear that rebels will be punished, deselected or sidelined, with the prospect of a long-awaited Labour government finally realised. Few are willing to rock the boat. Then we've got the media. Most of the mainstream media has praised Starmer as serious, grown-up, competent. The very caution and conservatism that critics decry is what makes him palatable to newspapers, donors and think tanks. There is no appetite in the press for a real integration of his agenda. Have a good look at it, interrogation of his agenda, because it aligns with elite interests. And of course Parliament is no longer fit to scrutinise power. Beyond party politics, the systematic problem, I should say, the House of Commons is increasingly weak in its ability to hold government accountable. Prime Minister questions has become a theatre. Committees are limited in enforcement. Whipping enforces silence. The very architecture of British democracy is ill-equipped to challenge a leader whose power is executed through discipline and avoidance. Starmer's agenda, cautious, opaque, establishment-friendly, may win short-term electoral success, but it risks leaving Britain trapped in managed decline, with no vision of transformation, no relief for the working class, and with no answer of crises of the housing, inequality, or indeed the climate. More urgently, it raises the question of democratic failure. If Parliament, media and internal party structures cannot check a Prime Minister who offers no clear answers, no bold proposals and no willingness to be challenged, what exactly is left of public accountability? So Starmer's not bungling his job. He's executing a deliberate strategy. Minimise political risk, maximise elite comfort and maintain control at all costs. But Britain doesn't need another cautious manager. It needs a bold, honest leader willing to confront the scale of the crisis we face. Now, until MPs from all parties start asking the hard questions and refusing to be silenced, Starmer's government will continue to operate in the shadows of ambiguity, selling restraint as leadership. In the meantime, take care. Bye now. Bye bye.